escaping the matrix is not about going anywhere. It's about self-realization. And a lot of people confuse the self-realization with being obsessed with the self, like an ego problem. But self-realization is about understanding you are not the self. The self is a word we describe our individual experience, but it's not a real thing. It's a concept. What we actually are is source, energy, consciousness, pure beingness, going through all of these different aspects of reality and creation and learning through that experience what these all these dimensional aspects are. So when we, for example, say we are the singularity, we're just beingness, okay? From there, the first step is, okay, now I'm going to experience me as an individual. And then I'm going to experience two things, me and something else, separating the waters above and below, right? And then you go on to the third aspect of creation and the fourth and so forth. And so all of this is consciousness that unfolds. And we're at the point in this specific experience that we are experiencing duality. We're experiencing the first dimensional plane, and then all the other dimensions above that or around that expansively through our own consciousness. And some of us can reach very high states or very expanded states of consciousness, while others are stuck in very limited states of consciousness. So the matrix is just the world that we create or that we experience. And so we may experience it as something solid or something ethereal. People, places, things, objects, ideas, all of that can be part of a matrix. When we learn to release from attachment to those things, as if it is the only reality, and we allow that reality to affect us adversely in some way, if we release from that attachment, that's how we escape that matrix. To remain lucid in a state of peace and absolute, most expanded consciousness is to escape attachment to all realities that we can perceive or conceive. It doesn't mean we can't still be in the world. We are just not of the world, as Jesus said, right? And so we go through the world in a different way. Once we reach that state of consciousness, we're no longer a victim. We're no longer enslaved. Even though in our physical bodies we may be experiencing adversity, we may be experience oppression and suffering, because that's what this world is really about. It's a very dense, low vibrating frequency. And so we come into this world and we experience a lot of pain. It is when we learn to release from the obsession with those things that cause pain and suffering, like loss or even physical pain, that's when we learn to break free of the matrix and end suffering for ourselves and help to end it for other people. People like to think that their superpower is being able to control other people or shoot laser beams out of their eyes or levitate or whatever. Your most powerful tool that you have is your ability to master your own thoughts, which cause negative emotions, can trigger negative actions, that kind of things. The craving and the longing and attachment, obsession to things that we cannot control in the first place is what causes suffering. So our superpower is then the ability to let go of that. This is why the 7 deadly sins are sexual lust, greed, gluttony, sloth, vengeance, jealousy, and pride. When they are blocked and in a state of lust or obsession, They create blockages that affect your body and cause illness, mental illness, and physical illness. Having this information doesn't make you a god or special, because you have to put it into practical application. You have to practice every single day in training your brain to let go of some of the most subtle things, like just getting aggravated because your husband left his shoes in the middle of the floor, or something as impossible to deal with as the loss of a child. These things that we experience in this world are extremely painful. And you may say, well, it's impossible. You can't possibly let go of the grief that you feel when someone dies in your family that you love. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that it's very simple. Because this is why time heals, they say. Because after a certain amount of time, your mind starts to forget about this attachment that you formed, and it gets easier and easier. It's never going to be completely pain-free, and you're never going to be completely joyous about something like that, about losing someone, but you can be content. And that is why they say contentment is the greatest wealth, because nobody is always going to be happy and joyful, and you're not required to be. But contentment is peace, and peace is the one thing that's always right there waiting for you. It's right there. All you have to do is breathe and let go. And it's okay to do that.